And I'm back. I survived my trip to Europe. Now, if you're already following me on Twitch, you got to see some streams that I did while I was in the UK and in Rotterdam. But when I got back, I decided to go live and talk about the 8 days or so that I was gone. Because guys, while there was some incredible highs in Europe, I had my hotel room broken into while I was in it. And I'm not talking some sort of mistake, as in the hotel staff gave them an extra key and double booked the room. Someone decided to follow me back to my hotel room and attempt to enter it while I was there. Okay, bye, enjoy the video. Come on, YouTube intro. YouTube intro's already done. That's how I edit these videos. I record the intro after. You guys know that, chill. All right, yes, I am back. I am back from the Netherlands / the UK. And I'm gonna tell you guys everything about the trip. So it starts with day one. I get to the airport to fly to the fucking UK. Now, if you guys remember in my last video, I talked about how, you know, I'm a firm believer that you only need to show up like 45 minutes before your flight. I was right. So my parents are like, oh, we're gonna drop you off super early. We're gonna drop you off very whatever. And I was like, okay, sure, whatever. I get there like 3.5 hours early. I was at my gate within 15 minutes of stepping foot out of the car. Flight to the UK. All right. I did not have a very good experience. I got the, I think, furthest back row of the plane, and it was so uncomfortable. That whole flight, it took 9.5 hours. And I didn't stand up once because I was just like, I'm gonna lock in. I'm just gonna fricking try to pass out and sleep. We're just gonna lock in. Thankfully, I did get some sleep on the plane there, so that was good. I landed in London at Heathrow Airport. I had to wait 45 minutes for the next available bus to Brighton, which was the first place that I went. And so I ended up in Brighton on the, what day would it have been? It would have been the 24th at about 5 p.m. is when I got to Brighton. Maybe around 6 p.m. is when I got there. I missed my bus stop in Brighton. And then as I get there, I'm like kind of checking on the map for where my hotel is. And I was like, oh shit, I passed it. And so I am like waiting, and I was like, asked the driver, I was like, where's the next stop? And he was like, couple minutes. He drove so far. He drove so much further than a couple of minutes, chat. Okay, so this is Brighton. For those who don't know, those who haven't been to Brighton. My hotel was here, the Travel Lodge, okay? Do you know where the bus was supposed to drop me off? Like right here. Somewhere around this area. It would have been just a quick, you know, 2-minute walk to the Travel Lodge. Do you know where it actually dropped me off? Like down here. Oh, dude, it doesn't look like it, but like that walk was like a 45-minute walk. And I just was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm raw dogging it. I with both of my backpacks, because I only backpacked this trip, a 45-pound backpack on my back and a 30-pound bag on my front. I walked 45 minutes with a 70-pound weight vest. Anyways, I finally get to the Travel Lodge. I check in, okay? It's fine. Day 2 in Brighton was Monday. Now, for those who had been paying attention, the UK kind of underwent a heat wave the week I happened to have been there. Turns out that they set a record 2 days in a row for the hottest day ever in UK history. One was on Monday, and then one was on the following Tuesday. Oh, it was the hottest day in May. Okay, sure. That Monday was also a bank holiday. So what I decided to do was, first thing in the morning, I woke up super early. I woke up like 6 or something like that. And I was like, you know what? I just need to clear my head. Part of this trip that I went on, and the point of extending the trip past just Twitchcon. I've talked a little bit about this on stream before. I've been feeling extremely stressed and extremely pressured and extremely just like struggling a lot lately mentally. And so, you know what? I was like, I am going to not have a plan, and I am just gonna go for a walk. And I just decided to leave the Travel Lodge and just follow this road. So I ended up walking, and I just kind of kept walking. I was looking at all the cool buildings. I was just enjoying it. It was really fun. I was not even paying attention to like Google Maps. I kind of just kept following it, and then eventually I ended up at Brighton Beach. And because I got there super, super early, there was nobody there. So I had the beach to myself at like 7:30 in the morning on one of the nicest days in like UK May history. It was like genuinely like unbelievably calming. And so I ended up walking the beach for probably like 2 kilometers. And then I decided I had to loop back to the travel lodge. Like it was like a 3+ hour walk, right? And it was genuinely just, it was really, really nice. And I really enjoyed it. And it was fantastic. But then I decided to just chill in the room for a bit, try to relax a little bit. And that was when I messaged Millie. I had told her before that I was thinking about visiting the UK. And she's like, oh, well, if it ever lines up, let's do it. But she had forgotten that the day I told her I was coming was a bank holiday. So she ended up being free that day. Millie ended up driving out to meet me at the travel lodge and picked me up. And we went up to this place called, which by the way, I don't know why you guys in the UK call this stuff. It's called Devil's Dyke. Oh, wow. Thank you, Google Maps, for this photo. I appreciate it. But this was like the view from here. But imagine it on literally the nicest day of the fucking year ever. Not a cloud in the sky. And Millie and I walked down this trail. And we walked all the way to like here, kind of, a very, very far distance. It was so fucking nice. And we just talked. We talked about stream. We talked about work. We talked about just kind of like living life and whatever. After that, we decided to go back down to the more central like Brighton area. And that was when I started streaming. And you guys remember I was walking around streaming and everything. Anyway, so that was the stream we did in Brighton. So we walked around and we streamed Brighton. And you guys remember how packed it was? Dude, I found out later that that wasn't even like the start of it. You want to know a video Millie sent me? This is where we were. Look at how busy it is. You guys remember how I was telling you I had this whole beach by myself? Is that literally the only beach in the UK? I know, right? Like it was fucking slammed, dude. But that was, and then I ended up going back to the hotel and just kind of vibing and chilling for the night. But that was the first full day in Brighton. It was really nice. I got to clear my head a lot, and this sounds kind of weird to say. It was probably the first time ever where I went more than 2 hours where I didn't think about my job. And that was really weird for me because I ended up getting back to the hotel and getting like mind flooded with all the things that I didn't end up thinking about. But it felt really good during those like 2 hours to just kind of like, it was, I kind of cried back at the hotel after, I won't lie. Anyways, okay. Day 2 in Brighton. I went walking around a little bit in the morning, decided to go on a morning walk again. And then my boy, my friendo by the name of Tubbo, for those who don't know, he's in Brighton. I messaged him saying, hey, I was going to be in the Brighton area if he wanted to hang out. He said, sure. And I ended up going to see his studio. His studio was super, super cool. I got to see all his, like, where Playdot hosting is managed and where he does his streaming and all that. So I got to hang out with him for a couple hours. Super, super nice guy, super generous with his time. I got to meet like most of his team, but that was it. And then he gave me a bunch of stuff to take back, which I can't show you just yet, but we'll look at it later. So that was the second day in Brighton. Really quick, because I basically only did that one thing. Now, I'm kind of glossing over something that I did mention in another stream, was the nights at the travel lodge. On my second night at the travel lodge, I think an animal broke into my hotel room because I woke up at about 5:30 in the morning to like a fresh pee stain all over my like bathroom floor. And it wasn't just like a little, like something had like splashed out of the toilet when I went to the bathroom. It looked like, you know, when a cat goes and pees on something in the corner and it just pissed all over the floor. Cause my first thought was genuinely, did I do this? Like, did I wake up in some sort of like tired fugue state and like piss in the middle of the bathroom floor? What I did was I grabbed one of the spare bathroom towels and I threw it on and it kicked up the smell. It didn't smell like human pee. It definitely smelled more like cat pee. My window was open, but I was also on, I think, like the 4th floor. So I really don't know how an animal would have gotten in, but it was very, very weird. Boca knows ball when it comes to the piss smell. Listen, average piss sniffer here. What can I say? Day 3 in the travel lodge was a lot worse. This was the day after I hung out with Tubbo. I walked back from Tubbo's studio, hung out for about an hour, left again to go get food, and then I came back. I think someone followed me back to my hotel room. I don't know if it was on the journey from Tubbo's place to my hotel or like when I went out for food and came back, but someone followed me because what ended up happening was at about 11:30 at night, I heard the key card thing that opens a door. right? You know, like when you scan your key card at a hotel and it's like does the like verifies you or whatever. And I kind of like jolted and looked at my door and I was like, as soon as I like rolled back to look at my phone, the handle clicked and someone opened my door. There I am laying on the bed in my underwear and someone walks into my hotel room. So I quickly sit up because now I'm in a fight or flight thing. I'm like, this man is either accidentally got given the same key, this man is either going to kill me, or this man is a prostitute I booked by accident. It's one of those three. I don't think it could have been any other option, right? Because as soon as I jumped up and I was like ready to go, the guy looks at me, he's like, oh, you are here. At that moment, I knew that he wasn't a threat, but this could still be the prostitute. No, sorry, take this seriously. I should take this seriously. Okay. He was like, oh, I'm just like I'm a really big fan. And I was like, you do realize that if you had done this at my house at home, I would have shot you. He's like, yeah, I didn't know if you were actually here. Turns out that he ended up convincing the hotel staff at Travelodge that he knew enough about me to get a key issued to him. Because what would happen is he like went in and he was like, oh, is my friend like Elijah staying at this place? And they were like, oh, we were not allowed to. They apparently, because again, I did confront Travelodge on this. I started talking to them about this after that night. They were telling me like they wouldn't normally give a key out. And I was like, so then how did you give a key out? And he answered enough questions that it seemed plausible. Because there was questions like, well, how do you know him? Where's he traveling from? It's like, oh, well, he's traveling from like the Vancouver area. If you look up his booking address, if like they managed to basically social engineer enough information about me to convince the guy that they did know me and get a key. So Brighton was great, except for like the weird things that happened at night. Oh, the fire alarms. Oh, I forgot about the fire alarms. I didn't even tell about that, Taylor. The first 2 nights at the Travelodge, the fire alarms went off. The first one was at 11:30, and it was because someone was vaping in their room and it set it off. And then the second night happened at like 1:30 in the morning. Don't do what I did. Because when the second one went off, I just decided to lay down. And I was like, if it's serious enough, I'll start smelling it. I was kind of like, I'm willing to take this risk. It's way too early in the morning. I was like, I'm just gonna go to bed. Okay, final day. I left Brighton. I took the train this time because I decided to try the train, and Millie and some other people introduced me to like the Trains Link app, I think it's called. So my hotel in London, I don't mind talking about this now because I'm like not there again. This is where I stayed. Much better than Travelodge. My room was maybe fucking 15 square meters, but I had air conditioning. I was only in London for half day because the following day I had to get on the train to go to fucking Rotterdam, which is where obviously Twitchcon ended up being. But apparently the Eurostar gets a lot of delays. My train was delayed because it hit someone. The guy next to me looks at me on the train. He goes, well, that cunt had to ruin my day, didn't he? I was like, excuse me? I was like, sorry? Pardon? Like, OMG, my Eurostar got delayed too because of that. Okay, it's funny because someone else that I ended up meeting up with at TwitchCon, Finster and Ashley, they took the Eurostar the next day. They had 2 of them outright canceled. It took them 12 hours instead of like the 3.5 it was supposed to take you. But the first full day was the Friday, and that was where I was able to go pick up my my badge. And that's what we did on stream, if you guys remember. I started streaming in the park that was just across from the convention. We talked for a little bit. I walked over, picked up my badge, and then we decided to walk around the park that was just south of the convention. It was a really nice park, and I have stream footage of it. It was great, okay? So walked around the park, and then that was like the first full day in Rotterdam. But that night, oh no, sorry, that wasn't the first full day, because that night there was the partner party. And at the partner party, I met a ton of cool people. I met, okay, some of you guys are gonna know her, but I didn't clock who it was until the following day, and I felt so fucking bad. The fucking like white monster armor. I was like, I didn't clock who she was at first. I felt like so bad, but she's like, oh, can we get a picture? And then like the next day I was like, oh my God, yes, of course. So that was where I met Evie. Super, super nice. She was such a great person. That's also where I met JoJo for the first time. Another interesting duo that I didn't expect to run into. I got to meet Vlad and his kind of like his helper Kimon. Vlad like NCL. Vlad is the femboy that always has like the deep Russian ass accent that like scares the fuck out of people. At the time when I bumped into him, he wasn't like fully done up. So I didn't recognize him at first. But when we shook hands, we said hello, and then he talked and I was like, now I know who you are. So I actually ended up spending most of my weekend with Vlad and Kimon, just because they were super nice and they were super generous with their time hanging out with me on the first day, that we ended up spending like most of the weekend together. So thank you, because I didn't feel alone the entire weekend, which was great. Yeah, that was partner party. It was really short. It was only like a 2-hour party. It was pretty short. Day 1 of actual TwitchCon was, dude, TwitchCon EU, I'm gonna say it. It's way better than TwitchCon NA. I think it depends on what you want though, right? Because TwitchCon NA is like much bigger and much more grand. And in turn, I think is like better from that standpoint, because it's like, there's more creators, there's, you know, more people just in general. And I think if you enjoy that, it's much better TwitchCon NA. TwitchCon EU felt like, yeah, like JoJo said, it's smaller, but it made it feel kind of more relaxed and chill. Like everyone was way more calm. Everyone was way more like to themselves in like a good way. It was really, really great. Yeah, I don't get creator mogged at EU. That's a really good way of describing it, is I didn't feel that way either. Everyone was so much more generous with their time. And again, I got to, on day 1 is when I actually officially got to meet Finster, Ashley, and I bumped into a bunch of other creators as well. They made you feel so welcome. Every creator just made you feel so welcome there. And so yeah, our group basically all walked together. It was like Vlad, Kimon, Finster, Ashley, Evie, and I got to meet, Runa, Runabite that day as well. That was day 1 of TwitchCon, was just walking around. I did my stream. Oh, Lua was streaming as well. Yippee! So I was helping, we were walking around together. We rocked around for like, I think almost a full hour, and then I ended up having to go meet someone else. And then I ended up bumping back into her later, and we streamed at the Gothic party for a couple hours together. And I was like helping her film for her a little bit. She ended up dancing a little bit. I'll see if I can find the footage of her dancing. It was really fun. She just had like such a good vibe. There it is. It was great. But the Gothic party was pretty fun. Day 2 was much more chill. Just kind of walked around, hung out, saw a couple people, took a nap in the middle of the day. But I discovered it was the day 2 that it really set in for me. I have a weird undercover stealth at TwitchCon. And what I mean by that is I'm not Twitch famous, but arguably from my YouTube day job, I have a little bit of clout. And it was really funny because it happened more than once, where there was like a really big Twitch streamer that would have like a huge crowd with them, and I would walk by, and all of a sudden that whole crowd migrated over to me and started wanting a little bit of like pictures and whatever, and I was like, sure, yeah, let's do it. And I remember specifically one streamer, I wish I could remember their name because I want to like go apologize to them, but I remember this one streamer literally going, why the fuck are they all following this guy with like 28,000 Twitch followers? Like, and I'm sitting here just like losing my mind because he obviously just didn't know. And I don't expect people to know, obviously. But it was so funny to me how I had this weird fucking like aura of like silent undercover. Because when Finn and I were walking the show floor, just the two of us on Sunday a little bit, there was many times where Finn would get stopped because Finn is like way more famous than me. And then they'd be like, oh yeah, like Elijah? The connection, people were like, how the fuck do you two know each other? It was cool meeting you at TwitchCon, even if it's for a minute. Hell yeah. I'm so sorry. I definitely will not remember names or faces, but I loved meeting every single one of you. except for the dude who showed up at my hotel room. That person I did not like meeting. There's something really special, I think, about TwitchCon. And to be fair, I haven't gone to too many other conventions to really get this comparison. I feel like TwitchCon, you know, Twitch gets a lot of hate for a lot of things they do on the site. But I think one thing that they have a huge strength in is community, especially at TwitchCon EU this year. It really felt like people can put aside a lot of bullshit when it's just like so community focused of everyone getting together to hang out. You know what I mean? And I don't know, TwitchCon is like the few times that a year that I get to feel like a real streamer instead of just Elijah from Linus Tech Tips. You know, it's kind of cool that way. It's super cool. So did more people recognize you from work or Twitch? This time, more people recognized me from work. I also got way more recognitions this year than the last TwitchCon. Like this TwitchCon, I had like an impromptu hour-and-a-half meet and greet at one point. But at TwitchCon EU, I actually had, like I said, kind of aura. Like people like actually like stopped me and wanted to talk to me. And I was like, oh, this is very weird. And there was a huge line at one point that like one of the TwitchCon staff members had asked me like, hey, can we like move this all over here? And I was like, sure. So I had to like actually move my queue. And then it was time to journey home. And if you count from the moment I left my hotel to the moment I walked in this door, it was 24 hours to get home. I truly see the fact that you don't let any of this fame, etc., change who you've always been. I mean, I think I've let it change me a little bit, I'll be honest, but thank you. Keep it up. Positive is always really appreciate the hard work. I appreciate it, Riffle, thank you. I think the fame has changed me a tiny bit, but I really do try not to let it. But that was TwitchCon. That was TwitchCon. Kind of a shitty explanation, but hopefully it was good enough.